wanted to stop it. But somewhere around 2012, as my children were getting older, I realized the window to stop it is closing, but we also have to begin to prepare people for the impacts of it. And this region will be hit hard. We know from agreement on dozens and dozens and dozens of scientific analysis and projections that this region will become what they describe as uninhabitably hot and without water. And right now we're in a red flag danger, even though there's some rain falling, because of low humidity and high winds. Our region is the second most vulnerable to wildfire behind California. And we all know what happened in California recently. Again, something most people don't realize. And so my work for the last 10 plus years at Travis County has been to use the power and the engine of a local government budget to try and reverse climate change, reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and encourage practices and behavior that will reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and then to also prepare people for what's coming. So one of the first things I did when I took office in 2015 was, well, I'll start with a little quiz question. What's the largest use of water in a big building? Any guesses? Shout out.
Bathroom.
Toilets, bathrooms. Sinks. Anything else? Heating and cooling, air conditioning. Whoever said that. 90% of the use of water in any large building you're in is for air conditioning. We use evaporative cooling systems. So if you're ever looking out over, the rooftops in the downtown, you'll see these large units on top of the buildings. Those are evaporative cooling air conditioning units. Well, guess what? Nobody drinks the water supply for the air conditioning, and so we took the initiative to swap out the supply of our water for all our air conditioning systems in our large county buildings. And the city of Austin has been a real leader in a lot of these areas. They've been building out what's known as a purple pipe system. Anybody know what purple pipe is? It's the treated wastewater that's treated to a standard where it can be reused essentially for industrial irrigation purposes. Don't really want to drink it, although we could at some point if we need to. But they built out a purple pipe system in the downtown, and we're now using that treated wastewater from your toilets, been treated to the level where it's safe or acceptable to the EPA to discharge into the Colorado River downstream from Austin, and we're using a portion of it to air condition our buildings. Anybody want to guess how many gallons we are leaving in Lake Travis, which is our drinking water reservoir, by just using treated wastewater for our air conditioning systems? Any guesses? Shout out a number. Anybody want to try?
60 million.
60 million? Going once. Actually, you were the closest to it from anybody that I've given these talks to. 45 million gallons. And no one notices it. It's still doing the job of cooling the buildings, but we don't need to be using treated drinking water to do that. So we're stretching our drinking water supply, and I've been hounding the state capitol complex and the University of Texas complex, and they're moving in that direction. The state capitol complex uses about 1 billion gallons a year for air conditioning, some for lawn watering, but mostly air conditioning. And so they're moving in the direction of switching over to purple pipe. So this is just one thing we can do to climate-proof our region and stretch our drinking water supply. Because if anybody's been out to Lake Travis lately, they'll notice it's a little low. And that's the trend line. Hotter, drier, less rain, all that sort of thing. So because this is a regenerative gathering, we're also doing regenerative practices. The county owns land, as lots of local governments do. And I want to say, at the local government level, we have all the tools and technology at the federal, at the national, international level as well. We have all the tools and technology we need to reverse climate change. What we lack is political leadership and political will. And that's where people voting and getting engaged can have such a huge impact. Because with the retreat at the federal level, much of this work falls to the local level. And virtually every local government has, guess what? Parks, athletic fields, trails, green belts, greenways, and all of that can be made to be more of a carbon sponge, literally. And that's part of what we're doing at Travis County. We've been acquiring land for creek corridors and hike and bike trails and parks and all that kind of thing. And we're working on transitioning our land to make it more of a carbon sponge. And that's just a piece of the regenerative ag work that we're doing. There's lots more I could talk about, but I got the wrap-up sign, so I'm going to stop there.
So, one last question. How can we help you in your work? And when is your next election, and what's that process?
The term I'm in now runs out in 2026, and I'm actually in a process of deliberating what I will do. So stay tuned. It's not clear what I'm going to choose yet, but the biggest thing you can do is vote and encourage everyone you know to vote and to pay attention. I think a whole lot of people are having buyer's remorse if they voted for Trump in this last election, because so much of what's happening at the federal level is incredibly destructive and damaging to people and to our environment. So pay attention, stay engaged, vote, and encourage your friends to vote. That's probably the single most powerful thing we can do. And if there are rallies calling for better government and better treatment of the citizens of this country, show up at those as well. That makes a difference. Thank you all.
I have an idea. We can shave for president. That's what I think we should do. Bridget, let's get a picture. Hold on.